Hello, people of the internet. Today we're going to take a look at this SC48 because, once again, I like to make videos about stuff that I can't find online, and this appears to be one of them because I had to take this apart for work. This was in its road case, and the Hands company dropped it, and I had to open it up and reattach some stuff. And I guess, long story short, I couldn't find any videos or any help really from Avid on how to disassemble anything or what I was looking at when I was disassembling this one. And I thought I'd make a quick video kind of explaining the internals of an SC48 and how to take it apart real quick, and in case you're ever me and service centers aren't really servicing these too much anymore, and if it falls on you that you got to service it because nobody else can do it, this might help you. Luckily, this thing's really easy to take apart. This top one, there's screws through here, screws along the bottom. Don't forget about these two screws here, along the bottom here, along the side. This fader bank, same thing, screws along the top, screws along the bottom, screws along the side, screws along the other side. You take those out with a T10. Luckily, it's not a security bit, so it's just a normal T10. I've come across some T10 securities recently, and it's really annoying. Anyways, let's talk about our modules real quick. So it's kind of hard to see. We'll lift up the faders here in a minute. Right now, also the little shelf that sits up there is a great, awesome kickstand to hold up this while you're working on it. But we'll start over here. It's kind of hard to see. So this is power supply. Oh, I don't know which one's which, but I believe this one's B and this one's A. So those go straight to the back panel, and those plug. So these are your two power supplies. So the IECs come straight in down this path, blah blah blah, to these two guys. And then over here is the main. And this is what was giving me trouble, is this is the motherboard, so it's just a normal x86. I don't know, it looked like it was an Intel board, but I didn't take the heatsink off the CPU, so I guess it could be an AMD under there, but I think it's just a normal integrated Intel board. Yeah, pretty old. Let's have a look down in here. Let me grab a flashlight. Oh! Focus that out a little bit. There we go. So this is what was giving me trouble. When this was dropped flat on its face, stuck at the venue screen, so it shows the venue logo when it boots. It was stuck at that. And sometimes it wouldn't show that at all. It's because this PCI connector was dislodged. So this is kind of the heart of the console, because the software all runs on this x86 computer, and then all the audio processing happens on these three cards over here. So this is just a PCI riser extension. You kind of see them today, and it's actually a little PCI backplane. So there's three PCI cards. So this top one is your I/O card. So these ribbon cables all go to the DSP or not DSP, but it goes to all the inputs and outputs cards, including it's hard to see back there, but it's like the master card. Everybody has one in one of theirs, but it's just the card that has the FireWire, the talkback. So kind of the monitor card. But that card also, if you look back in there, it starts the ribbon cable party for these guys. So if you're having surface issues or you're not seeing any of your surfaces, it's probably the connection or that card in the back there, the front of house, the talkback card, the sync card, I don't know, the master card, in a way. And before I move on, so yeah, these guys all talk to that. This guy, all these guys talk to this guy, and then the last two under this guy, where am I? Yeah, so those are your two mix engines. So it goes your I/O and then your two mix engines. your I/O connects to that front of house board, and then that front of house board or monitor card connects to all your surface controls. So this just goes in a giant loop. I figured that out. So it all hooks up here, jumps from here to here, from there down to here, from here to here, from there back up to this guy. So it just goes in a giant loop. I assume it's all some kind of serial I/O of some kind. Yeah. Just have a quick little look around so you can see what you're dealing with. Back to what was plaguing mine, or this one. So if you have a critical failure, so if it doesn't boot to a post screen at all, might be a SATA cable, might be a corrupt hard drive, but it could also be this riser extension. This riser extension, after it got dropped, this side, that screw right there, so it's not like a traditional PCIe slot where it clicks in on the side. If you look at the actual PCI connector, it doesn't have any clicks, so they made this steel bracket thing on either side, and if that drops or gets disturbed enough, it'll hold this card socket in a spot that either shorts a few pins or doesn't make any connection at all. So I had to pull this out. For a while I thought it was a SATA cable, and I ran a second SATA cable. That's the gray one. The original one's the red one, but I figured out I don't think it's that SATA cable, so I'm going to pull that spare one out of there. But it was this causing all the problems. So what I recommend if you're troubleshooting one of these is you open it up and pull this first, and if it boots up and you get to the can't detect hardware screen, like it actually posts and boot up to Windows, it's probably this. If you unscrew this bracket and seat it back in without screwing these back in, it boots up, and you see everything, then this means that this part was your problem. For me it's really finicky, those screws, so it took a long time to get it relined up to where it would hold the socket in the correct position, because I kept and I did it while the machine's on. You know, there might be some touchy-feely, I don't know, Windows has protections when PCI bus stuff fails, I think. It's a Windows embedded version, so it's tough to say how much protection it actually has that they left in. But if you move the card socket and it fucks something up, you can just watch it on the screen, and the Avid will either tell you that it's having DSP communication errors, or Windows itself will just blue screen and go into recovery mode, and then you just restart and retry. But I started this screw over here, went really, really slow, and then switched to this screw over here, and got them to the same tightness, and then slowly both of them came down together. Also put some QC cleaner in there, and that fixed it. If the problem persists, it's probably this back plane back here. Depends on what your issue is and what caused it. For me, it was physical damage, so it was just the case. It fell over like this, right on to the bottom, so it makes sense that this connector jumped. But if the case falls the other way, it might be possible that these connectors are the ones that get misaligned, and that's more of a project, because you got to disconnect all these, which isn't too bad. It's only 5-6 ribbon cables, a couple power connectors, and whatnot. Yeah, I guess we could do that real quick. The power supplies all come from here. And it's pretty easy to identify which ones are power and which ones aren't. There is a CAN bus that goes around. That's how it communicates on a microcontroller level. It's pretty cool. You usually only see CAN bus in cars, but this thing's built to not fail like a car, and that's interesting. Make sure to label all those, because I believe CAN bus has to be in a certain order. They don't have to have a host, but they gotta all show up in the correct order. Yep. Yeah, down there were the SATA connections. Let's move up front real quick, because I think the last things I want to show you guys is how the drive assembly comes out. Because I thought it was a failed hard drive at first. These are all really easy to pop. You just get yourself a jeweler's screwdriver. You can see there's a little paint chip on that corner, but this corner takes it a little better. And you just lift them just like you would a car hood. When you're lifting this bank, disconnect that cable. That is the one cable that's not long enough for it to fold over. Oh, looks like I was backwards. This is supply A. This is supply B. Someone was nice enough to label it for us in Sharpie long ago. Up front are your drives. So, you know where your DVD drive is. Your hard drive lives right on top of that. These are the two shrouds. This shroud goes over the top, and your drive sits in it. And then this other shroud goes all the way over the top, and protects it from RF or whatnot, whatever it needs to be protected from. Trying to think. Before I knew it was the PCIe slot, I thought I was going to have to reinstall the software on it, and so I ended up pulling. That's why I have the drives disassembled. I ended up pulling the drive and looking at it on my own SATA enclosure, and it has two partitions on it. One's the user data, and one's actually the DLive software. I noticed in the recovery CD, it doesn't come with a full. It comes with an EXE or something to update and replace your current EXE on here. And people on the internet, they say they're like, oh, it's a full factory reset or whatever, blah blah blah. If you corrupt your drive or whatever, no, it's only if you corrupt like a config file. If you corrupt the Windows install, it doesn't have a Windows install on that recovery partition. Luckily, this drive was fine, so I didn't need to do any recovery. I didn't need to clone the drive or anything. It all looked good from what I could tell. But yeah, that's just something to be aware of. You need an actual ISO of one of these, or you have to. So I'd imagine I'm sure Avid wants you to contact them, but I'd imagine there's an ISO of one of these drives floating around out there. If you do need to do a full Windows reinstall, it seems like it'd be a real pain and to put the new stuff on it or whatever. So, yeah, if you have one of these, maybe back up, or if you have several of them, maybe back up, make an ISO of one of your hard drives. It might come in handy in the future. Here are the back of the fader boards. I saw another guy's video. He shows how to take all this apart. I'm not cleaning any of this today. Oh no, he looked like a really nice guy, so go watch his video. I won't steal his thunder. These are all power all jumps together, and then all these are the individual faders. They're even labeled. And then controllers. Another control port. And these are the buttons on the side, your bank buttons. That's what these are, and they go in the loop of the rest of the surface. Down here's your RAM, connections for your video. There's a better look at the motherboard. I can't really tell what brand it is. I saw Phoenix on there earlier, but I can't remember if Phoenix makes motherboards or not. I'm not sure what model it is. I didn't have to find out because I don't have to replace it. I thought I had to replace it, but I don't. So I guess I'll have to figure that out some other time down the road when it finally bricks itself. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. No. See you later.